Welcome to the Conversation with Cold Ones podcast. I'm your host, Damien, and my co-host, Jared.
Hi!
And Jared, why don't you go ahead and take us into the brewskis of the week?
I've got none.
Wow, usually I'm the one that doesn't have anything.
Yeah, I know. I haven't had a chance to go out and get anything because, not a brewski, but we have a problem with our basement. So I've been working the past couple days, not really had a chance to do that. So I got water, unfortunately, in my or whatever the fuck that meme is.
In your Visco Girl cup.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I'm trying to make it do that noise. Yeah.
That noise that the Visco girls make?
No, that signature hydro flask noise. Just
no,
like
I know. Yeah.
Here, I don't have anything to ding off it. Here. No, that's not right. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
There it is.
I'm drinking a Coke.
Flyers.
As normal.
Nice.
I'm drinking a
no
pop.
brewski, bitch.
Drinking a pop.
Soda?
No? What? It's pop.
What? Yeah, pop. That's what I said.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. So, what?
Nothing.
So, we have a few things we're going to talk about today. So we are ranking all the Halos. We are doing that last though, because I have some shit to talk about.
So you mean I have my list up for no reason?
Well, I mean, it's going to be in like 20 minutes. You can still keep it up.
Okay. I got it. Sure.
All right. So I got to get some things off my chest with Sony and PlayStation, as I do basically weekly now. Okay. So PS4 controllers will work on the PS5, right? Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. Xbox. Yep. You're allowed to use whatever controller you want on all their games. But PS4 controllers will not work on the PS5 games. They want you to use the DualSense because they feel it gives you the best experience. So Xbox.
So they want more money. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah. So you can use your controller, but you're not going to be playing any games that are, basically, how can I put this? There's no PS4 games on the PS5 console like that you're going to be playing that are brand new. So there's no reason to use your PlayStation 4 controller because it's not going to work. Xbox, on the other hand, is saying, hey, you want to use your Xbox One controller that you've had since 2013? You can do that. You want to use your Elite controller? You can use that. It'll be on all new games. PlayStation, on the other hand, is like, hey, fuck you, because as my rant will continue on, PlayStation is at an all-time anti-consumer. And I've had enough of it because I've been seeing the Twitter reactions and everything and all these fucking Sony fanboys. I need to get some shit off my chest, okay? First off, the new Avengers game that's coming out, okay? I have serious beef with that game because they announced a few days ago that Spider-Man will be an exclusive character on PlayStation. Now, Jared, a few months ago, we talked about this. We talked about if they made Spider-Man an exclusive character, how pissed I would be. Yeah. Okay? So, here we go. Okay? Did they not learn from Destiny? Crystal Dynamics, who's making this game, did you not learn from when you did Rise of Tomb Raider on Xbox for a whole year by itself? Did you not look at Bungie and say, hey, they did that on PS4 and a lot of their players hated them for it? Yep. It would be different if this was an exclusive, but it's not. It is literally a multi-platform game on PC and Xbox as well. And you have to market to PC players. Like, PC players are still playing games from 2003. Like, they don't need to play new shit. Like, people are still playing DayZ, right? So you have to market your game well and make it worth the money for a lot of PC players to buy something. And, that's a pretty big market. And by putting shit exclusive on one system is absolutely ridiculous. Also, getting fucking tired of Spider-Man being thrown around like this. Like, listen, biggest superhero character of all time should not be an exclusive. We talked about this a few months ago when I was talking. Shut up. We talked about this a few months ago when I was talking about the PS4 Spider-Man game. It's great. I love the game. It should not be an exclusive. Spider-Man is too big of a character. It means too much to people that it should not be an exclusive character at all in video games. But here's my thing. This is Marvel's fault too, because Sony doesn't own the virtual rights to Spider-Man. Spider-Man was just in the new Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Switch. Oh, so Switch can get fucking Spider-Man, but God forbid Xbox just wants a little bit of it, or PC players. You know, God forbid, right? But, you know, Sony, the fucking cocksuckers that they are, you know, got this deal by saying, hey, give us these fucking exclusives and we'll give you Spider-Man in the MCU. Well, Spider-Man in the MCU is ass, but the games are actually good. So somebody's getting butt fucked here, and it's me, okay? Because I was gonna play this game, this Avengers game, but now I'm boycotting it, because no multi-platform game should have exclusive, game-changing characters or mechanics only on one platform. That is like Call of Duty. How can I put it? This is
keeping
like
the M4 on PlayStation.
Yeah,
only.
this is like Destiny removing the Titan and only making it on PlayStation.
Oh no!
But then there's still cross-platform play. Like, so you wouldn't even have access to it, but you go up against it. Like, that's my point. This Avengers game doesn't have cross-platform play at the minute, but they said they want to do that. So somebody's gonna be fucking swinging around as Spider-Man. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with Kamala Khan with giant-ass hands. Like, that's what I got. That's what I got. I'm not able to play as the best character of all time because I spent $2,000 on a PC, unlike these poor people who spent $500 on a PS5.
Oh God.
Like, you know, what the fuck? What the fuck? Too big of a character. Stan Lee's in his grave rolling. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. These motherfuckers are consistently throwing Spider-Man around for no reason. This game, I was, you know, getting excited for. And then now Spider-Man is going to be in the game. I was like, dope. And then I saw that, hey, it's only on PlayStation. I went, yeah, not buying this game. And online, the amount of Xbox people and PC players who are mad about it is quite big. But we're not going to talk about them right now. I'm going to talk about you Sony fanboys, okay? Because I've been seeing YouTube videos about it. I've been seeing Twitter articles put about it. Yes, I understand this is a business move, but how can you sit here and support this move, but when it happens on another platform, you get mad about it? This is setting a bad example for the game industry. Like Cyberpunk. What if Xbox paid fucking CD Projekt Red, hey, the whole desert area of the map, yeah, we want that. Only us. So make a huge part of the map exclusive.
Here's $1 gajillion that we have and Sony doesn't.
Yeah, like here, we'll pay you. This is only on Xbox and PC. Like, Sony people will be mad. There'd be boycotts. But no, just because it's on Sony, it's okay. Because it's on a PlayStation, it's okay. Like, I'm getting so sick and tired of this. This whole console war thing needs to stop, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same fucking group. Gamers, gamies, whatever. Like, we need to sit here and tell the industry with our wallets what we do and what we don't want. Look at loot boxes came into it for like 3 or 4 years. People stopped paying for them. Guess what happened? They went away. Now there's all these fucking exclusive deals coming out again, and it's just ruining it for everyone. Destiny should have been the example, the guinea pig. It didn't work. People got pissed. People didn't buy the game. People didn't support the game. Like, This is so stupid. Stop putting on these glasses of console wars. This is what PlayStation wants you, even Xbox, you know? I mean, but we'll talk about Xbox in a second. Like, PlayStation wants you to put on these fucking glasses, and all you see is how great Sony is, right? You're looking through the fucking shit glasses. Nothing but horse shit, okay? That's all you're seeing.
I've never thought Sony's great. I mean, like, I have a PS2 and I love it, but like...
Well, I'm just talking about, like, the people who just stand PlayStation, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've given PlayStation props. They do a lot of good things, like, game-wise. But this is fucking stupid as hell. You have to sit there. You can't say, oh, I'm okay with it because I'm a PlayStation. They're giving me more content. Like, no, because now people, based on the console they prefer, are not able to play the same game that you're experiencing. I'm glad you're trying to play on a shit system, but other people are playing on $2,000 PCs and the most powerful console right now. Like, I'm sorry, if PlayStation didn't have exclusives, they are nowhere near that Series X. Like, so they're getting punished. So people are getting punished for buying the better system and the better platform because Sony is fucking cocks and paying to get these fucking exclusive characters. It's so stupid. Like, I'm boycotting the game. I'm not playing this game. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter who are not buying this game now. I don't think this game, like, should be a thing anymore. I don't think people should buy it. I'm going full Karen on this fucker. Like, this is so stupid. I thought we were past this shit. Call of Duty, the #1 money-hungry franchise, stopped doing exclusive shit to PlayStation. Like, what is happening? Now Square Enix, the people who make Final Fantasy, are doing this? Like, I understand they've always had a PlayStation thing, but, like, you know,
No, I get it, man.
I don't want this to continue, and I don't want it to be on either side. I don't want Xbox to get fucking exclusive characters. And also, I saw some stupid ass thing. Well, if Xbox cared enough, they would pay to get exclusive characters. Why should they pay for exclusive characters? You're making a game. Xbox doesn't have anything to do with your game. Why are you selling exclusive characters? When Sony came to you and said, hey, we want Spider-Man in the game, but only on our system, they should have said no. Marvel owns the game rights. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I'm so pissed. And then they're going to sit there and say, oh, PS4 controllers don't work on PS5. Well, fuck you. What the? So people who just bought a scuff controller for Call of Duty can't use that on the new Call of Duty. Why do I need to use a DualSense? It's the same Bluetooth. Why do I need to change? Meanwhile, people are sitting here shitting on Xbox, who is giving you Game Pass for $15 a month, where you get access to 400 games a month. You're allowed to play. Oh, by the way, PS5, we don't even know if it has backwards compatibility for PS3, PS2, and PS1, but I'm guessing it won't. Xbox is like, hey, you want to play original Xbox games? We got you. You want to play 360 and Xbox One? We got you. All Xbox One games are moving to the Series X. We got you. Don't worry. You're able to play what you want when you want. You want to use your shitty ass 2013 controller without a 3.5 millimeter aux or controller port? Fine. Use it. You want to use it? That's on you. That's fine. You don't have to upgrade to our fucking controllers. You have an Elite controller you spent $200 on? Cool. We're not going to punish you for spending money on our products. Like, you want the most powerful console? Here you go. You want Fable? You want to bring Fable back? Here's Fable. Here's Halo. Open world Halo. You want multiplayer for Halo? It's free now. Halo multiplayer is free, Jared. The biggest selling point of that fucking game is free. Free. Can you, Jared, like, a AAA multiplayer game is free on Xbox and PC. I don't have to pay anything to play fucking multiplayer for Halo. Yeah. That is insane to think about. They are losing so much money by doing that. But what is Microsoft doing? Or Xbox doing? They're saying, hey, we're trying to make the gaming community better. Meanwhile, fucking Sony is sitting here for the past fucking 2 years being so anti-consumer. Look, they didn't want to do cross-platform play with Fortnite. They were basically forced to do it with Fortnite. They didn't want to do Minecraft cross-platform play. And then here they are now. You can't use your fucking controller, and you can't play Spider-Man on fucking Xbox or PC. Like, what is this horse shit? I am livid. Fucking livid. Anyways,
let us just understand that in every way, no matter how much of a fanboy retard you are to PlayStation, in every single way, Sony has lost this console war. Which is it's a shame that there is one in the first place, but they've lost it in every way.
Like, if we're talking morality and not console sales, yeah, they lost it. Like, PlayStation 5 is going to outsell this new Xbox, but
that's a shame. Yeah, that it's going to do that, especially because. And let's be honest here, the price isn't out yet, right? Like, I've been looking, it's still not out for the PS5. Yeah, if it is not more expensive than the Xbox Series X, like if it comes out and is the same price or is cheaper, Sony is fucked. Like, they have to make an expensive ass console, and it's a shame that the PlayStation 5 will outsell the Xbox, because at the end of the day, Sony is garbage, the PlayStation is garbage, and it's not. It's like you're saying, you're boycotting the Avengers game. People need to boycott Sony with what they're doing.
They're being so anti-consumer. It is nuts.
But the problem is people like being abused. All these fucking PlayStation fanboys, they're like, oh yes, hit me harder. Like, shut up. Like,
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Stupid. Like, you can't sit here and say I'm an Xbox fanboy. I'm buying a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I at one point have owned both an Xbox and a PlayStation, and guess what? I preferred my Xbox.
Yeah.
The only reason why I owned a PlayStation was because of Spider-Man.
Dude, there's people like, okay, a friend of ours named Jordan, He was on Xbox with Damien and I for a very long time. 360 into Xbox One. We stopped talking for a summer, and he bought a PlayStation 4 because all of his friends were on PlayStation 4. He moves a PlayStation, starts playing with these friends, and then they all go, "Oh, PlayStation sucks. Like, we're gonna start getting PCs and or get back to Xbox." And he sits there alone on PlayStation by himself for months, and he finally buys an Xbox again and comes back to playing Xbox, plays with Damien and I, and he's like, "Yeah, so the absolute worst purchase I've ever made in my entire life was buying a PlayStation." He's like, "I hated it." He's like, "I cannot believe I did it." And he came back. He's like, "Xbox is the better console by far." He's like, "It's so much easier to play on an Xbox." That being said, later on, his current girlfriend bought him a PlayStation 4. I'm pretty sure she bought it. It was like a gift or something.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to play Spider-Man, God of War, and another game that I can't remember. That he really
Horizon, I believe.
I think something like that. So he ended up getting a PlayStation anyway, and admitted to he wanted to play those games. But all the time, I was talking to this kid all the time before I got my PC, and he would say, "I just wish I didn't have to play it on PlayStation. I could still talk to my friends on Xbox while I played." And I'm like, "Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it?"
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, another quick example. He was in the army. Fuck yeah, he was in the army. He did a lot of stuff like on his downtime when he wasn't serving and wasn't on duty. Would play on Xbox, and his Xbox broke, and someone sold him a PlayStation 4 for like $100, and he ended up returning it to them, even though he got it for $100, returning it to him, and then spent full price to get an Xbox because how much he liked it more.
I mean, look at I'm another example. Bought a PlayStation, played Spider-Man, played God of War, played The Last of Us, went, nothing left to do, and sold it.
Yeah.
And
then you bought a PC.
And then here we are on the best the best way to play video games. We're on the PC. I have no tie in this console race. Okay, I am sitting here, the PC gaming master race, and saying, look this shit is getting annoying, highly annoying, especially with big characters. Big characters like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Justice League, Thor, Iron Man. Those things should be excluded from exclusivity, because there is a child out there who loves Spider-Man, and his parents bought him an Xbox because that's all they could afford, and he is being punished right now because he doesn't own a Pussy Station 4 or a Poverty Station 4 and can't play that exclusive game, and he can't play Spider-Man an Avengers game, which he thought he was going to be able to do. Just fucking horseshit.
I feel this kid is a young you.
Yeah, basically. I was so pissed. I don't get it. Every other genre or every other industry, okay, Tesla, right? In the car industry, a lot of people buy their cars because Elon Musk is very open and he gives you the worth of the car. He sells it to you, right? What you pay for that car is what it's worth. A lot of companies like Chevy, Dodge, whatever, Ram, whatever. I know it's the same company in Dodge, but they overprice their stuff, especially Chevy on Camaros and their trucks, because they're trying to make as much profit off of you as much profit as possible. Xbox is sitting here saying, we're getting rid of Xbox Live in a sense. For $15 a month, you are getting Game Pass with 400 games and Xbox Live. Excuse me? Also, you don't have to pay $60 for our games anymore because they're just on Game Pass. Also, if you want to play Halo, you can play the multiplayer for free. Sony, on the other hand, is still making you pay for PSN. You can't use your controller that you spent money on. You have to upgrade to their controller. Then you have to wait for Scuf to make the controllers, then spend the $200 on those controllers. And then here we are. They're excluding people from playing a multi-platform game with one character, and it's just fucking stupid. But we're gonna talk about some good games now. Jared, it is time to rank the Halo games. Okay.
Ooh, yes.
Now you have 9 of them, correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 14.
What? You don't have Spartan Assault on there, right?
Taking those away, I have 12.
Can you name all the games on your list?
Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Wars, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, Halo 4, Halo Spartan Assault,
Get
Halo the Master Chief
Anniversary
Collection,
out of there.
Spartan Strike, Halo 5 Guardians,
Spartan
Halo Wars
Strike?
2, and Halo Fireteam Raven.
Get rid of the Spartan Strike Fireteam Raven. What? Like main
Fireteam
Halo
Raven
games.
is
Like main Halo games. Like
uh,
I have Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo Wars 2, Halo Reach. 9 games. Halo 3 ODST.
This is why I didn't want to do this, because I knew you weren't gonna want to actually rank all of the games. You just wanted to do the main ones, like a fucking basic.
Dude, nobody
fanboy.
plays fucking Spartan Assault, man. Like what?
I mean, that may be the case.
Like
but
what?
I've played every Halo except for
Fireteam
Spartan
Raven.
Strike.
Fireteam
Yeah.
Raven. People are gonna go, "What the fuck is that?" Nobody's heard of that game.
It's an arcade cabinet.
I'm glad it's an arcade cabinet. Get that out of the list.
I played it more times than I played Spartan Assault.
That's the one at fucking Dave and Buster's, right?
I mean, I don't know if Dave and Buster's has it, but my old job has it.
Okay, yeah. So, anyways, get that out of there. Alrighty.
Okay.
So we're gonna start off with the worst being number 9. Okay.
I have more than 9 games. This is a problem, clearly.
Okay, Jared. Let's go ahead and go through your list till you get to number 9. Okay. Okay.
No, it's all right. Let's go ahead and we'll do number 9. That's fine. I'll narrow them down.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you're not gonna like me right off the bat. Number 9 for me is Halo Wars 2.
Okay.
So one, personally, I've not played this game. Okay.
Make a real list here.
I hate
What?
you.
Sorry.
Have not played this game. I've watched the campaign, so I know what's kind of going on. Halo RTSs I'm just not a huge fan of, so I haven't really played this one. I played the first one, but this one I know the least amount about it, and I just feel like overall, like the overall picture of it, I'd rather play other Halos because I get Forge, multiplayer, campaign, like firefight, like that's a better complete package for me. So Halo Wars 2 is my number 9.
Okay. Well, since I have to redo my list real quick, let me just cross a couple things off. Gotta cross 1, 2. Oh boy, this is difficult now that I can't include them all.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
See, because I'm still looking at
Spartan
12 games. Fuck you. All right, my number 9. I guess I'll go with. Fuck me. You really fucked me here, Damien. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Ugh. I guess my number 9 spot's gonna be Halo 5. Oh yeah, Halo 5 Guardians would be my number 9 because I'm. That's where I'm at. Halo 5 Guardians is my loser on my list because it is not great. The Warzone was pretty fun when they first added it. I even liked the firefight Warzone thing they added. That was a lot of fun. The story was there, and I know a lot of people are like, it's the worst story in any Halo game I've ever seen. Like, yeah, I get that. People are mad because they didn't get to play as Chief the whole time. Like, I like the story only because it's Halo. Like, I'd still play Halo 5 over like most Call of Duties. But the story could have been better. Also, the graphics were very weird. I didn't like the way they changed. Like, you had Halo 3, which looked great. Halo 4, which was like, yeah, these graphics are like it's newer. And then you went to Halo 5, and it's like, what happened here? Like, it looks like Halo 4, but a little worse. Like, what did you do here?
Very sterile, right? No colors going on.
Yeah.
That's what sucked about it. I mean, there was colors, but like it was very gray, like Modern Warfare 3 level gray.
That's not really what I was going for, but yeah, I can see it. I just meant like
Captain Marvel gray, like concrete.
It just looked like dumb. It looked rounded, like just like smooth instead of like, I don't know, jagged. I'm having a hard time. When I'm saying this, I'm imagining the helmets of Fireteam Osiris because that's what pissed me off. Like, they just looked weird. So I guess Halo 5 will be my number 9. Is what I'm gonna go with there.
So my number 8 is Halo Wars. So what I love about Halo Wars is it has actually a really good story, really fun missions. Like I said before, though, RTSs aren't my thing. I'd rather play other games that have a more complete package. Halo Wars, like, it doesn't hold up well a lot of times. Like, it's still a fun RTS to play, but there's so many other ones I'd rather play, like Gears Tactics. That one's a lot better. So for me, Halo Wars is my number 8. So what is your number 8, Jared?
My number 8 is, I'm sorry, just updating my list again since you're a piece of shit. Oh god, my number 8 will probably be Combat Evolved.
Okay.
And
the reason real quick, like when we're talking about these games, these include like the upgraded like MCC games too. Like, so best graphics, whatever. That's fine.
They do?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that change your list a lot?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
How much does that
change?
A lot.
Everything I was about to say about Halo Combat Evolved.
With how shitty it looks? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was about to be big.
Yes, this included all anniversary editions. Like, that's how we'll do this.
Oh my god, you're such a bastard. Oh, okay.
I gotta keep you on your edge, on your feet.
No, fuck you. This is why I didn't want to do it. I wasn't ready. Okay. I'm still gonna say Halo Combat Evolved looked like ass. I don't think ever played it with another person, so I've always been solo. No one has played that fucking game with me. I think I have played one mission with one other person or two. It might have been two other people, and that's the mission where there's the bridges in the snow area.
Yeah.
I can't remember the fucking name of it because that's how unmemorable this game is to me for some reason. I know one's called the Library, maybe. Anyway, yeah, that mission I think is the only mission I played with somebody, and I tried to do it on Legendary with two people I don't remember the names of, but they were on. It was on Xbox One. Yeah, because that's where the re-release. Yeah, no, maybe it was 360. I can't fucking remember. I played it with two people, one girl and another dude, and it was because they were trying to do like the legendary, like the what are they called, achievements on Xbox, and I just tried to do it with them, and that's the only one. Combat Evolved, like, it's not bad. Like, I like it as a Halo. I still I want to play that game. Like, it's a good game, but it's my number 8 because I've always had a really hard time playing it. Like, most Halos I can get through in, like, I don't know, like if I just do the story, I can get straight through in like 6 hours, like depending on the Halo. This one I have to take like 2 days to do it because I can't get through it all in one sitting, especially if I'm playing on like anything above normal.
It's so boring, man.
It's not even boring. It's just hard. Like, I'm just there's my AR. Oh, yeah, reload. Oh, look, a grunt's dead. Like, what the fuck was that? And if I have the Magnum, like, yeah, but I don't like the Magnum in that game. And I mean, like I said, if I could play with my friends, it'd be a lot more fun. But
we'll have to play.
I don't think I've ever played with anybody.
We'll have to play together. I forgot.
Eventually,
I forget that I beat all the Halos with Cody when the MCC collection came out.
Yeah, piece of shit.
I don't even think me and you were talking at the time. I don't think we were.
Okay, I have a problem before we can continue.
Yes.
What's your 9th game? Like, what are the? Because I only have 8 if I'm including the fucking
Halo 3 ODST. You're probably forgetting that.
I have that.
So Halo 1.
Wait, Halo. It's Halo 4.
Okay, I was about to say, dude. Alrighty. So my 7th game is not a shocker. It is Halo 5. So I think when you're making a Halo game, the number one thing you should focus on is making a good like story. And obviously that's not what they did. They made a really good multiplayer. Warzone that Jared mentioned earlier, like the PvP, PvE arena that they made, really fun. Like, Jared, me and you actually played it a lot. Warzone, where you were fighting players and then you were also fighting like actual enemies. Like,
I love Warzone.
Yeah, super fun game mode.
Earlier this year, back in March before quarantine, I was playing Warzone with some buddies.
Yeah, like the customizations that they allowed you to do in Halo 5, like you had the DMR that had like the fire coming out of the barrel, like shit like that. Cool, definitely fun.
That wasn't fire. That was the Promethean stuff.
Fire.
Was it fire? I'm sorry.
I know. So they made cool additions. I do think the multiplayer could have been better without the whole Call of Duty feel aspect and how they were trying to shift it more towards Call of Duty, but I felt like they did good with what they had. Now we get to the campaign. What do I say about the campaign? Okay, first off, mantling, I love. Finally, right? You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Halo didn't need it, but I got it. It's not a bad inclusion. But, you know, lock never worked for me. The way that we don't see Chief a lot in this game didn't work for me. The fact that, like, they kept, like, the story super colluded like Halo 4, like, didn't work for me. The one thing I will say I do like, which I kind of give more props to Halo 4 for, is I like that Cortana is the main, like, bad guy, main villain going from, like, now on, like, since Halo 4. Like, I think that's a cool, interesting idea. The problem is when you have a cool, interesting idea, you have to make the story good. And this one's really average. And Halo can't be average. Halo has to be amazing with story.
Yeah,
like all these other games that we're talking about. Halo Wars, good story. Great story.
Oh, fuck, dude. The Halo War stories?
Yeah. Like, but out of all these games we're talking about, besides ODST, like that's kind of an outlier. Like all these games that we're talking about have great stories, not good stories, great to fantastic stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, Halo 5 is my number 7. So what about you, Jerry? Oh, also real quick, Forge in Halo 5, like not really well supported at the beginning. I know they supported it more at the end. But
Halo 5's Forge at the beginning, that's something I've actually like talked about with other people a lot because Forge was a huge problem for people. You went from 3 where it was the worst, then you had Reach where it was like, oh my god, this is a huge improvement. Then they went to 4 where it was like, okay, I like how things lock on. Like it's making it easier for people to do Forge if you're a hardcore forger. So like Reach was a lot more for common people using Forge. Then you go to Halo 5, and for the first year, it was bad for everything. I hated that.
Yeah, they didn't have any content, dude.
It was not even the lack of content, but the lack of functionality. Like they had to change it so much. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm sorry. I've been looking at the word Halo this whole time, and it looks like I'm looking at law. Like I can't. It's driving me nuts looking at that word. Anyway, my number 7's Halo 2. And I know you're not going to be happy about that, Damien.
What?
Listen.
Okay.
This is another reason I don't like that you shorted my fucking list, because original Halo 2 is supposed to be in the number 7 spot with the better looking one higher. So that's why I'm fucked here, is because I didn't know where to move that to.
Like, I can talk about something while you make your list real quick. Like, I don't care.
Nope, it's too late.
All
Sorry.
right.
You have dug your grave, fucker. Maybe next week I'll give a quick updated one of what my whole original one was, because I already fucking deleted it. So number 7, Halo 2. Kind of similar to my Halo 1 situation where I don't think I've played that game with another person at all. Like that's just straight ever. I know Halo 1 I've played with other people at least a little, very, very small amount. But Halo 2, I don't think I've ever once played with another person. When Chief Collection came out, I played the whole thing, the whole remastered Halo 2 that day, like the day it came out. Like I got it, went and bought it, came home, installed it, played it all then. Before that, I think we just boxed it up. I begged my dad to buy the original Halo 2 for the Xbox so I could play it on my 360 because it was backwards compatible. I think it was backwards. It was some weird thing where I barely got it to work. But I begged him to get it for me. And he looked online, and I was like younger when I asked this, and he looked online and it was nowhere to be found. And he had to buy it on eBay, and it came in the metal case. Like I don't know if anyone remembers when Halo 4 came out, you get it in like that metal like collector's edition case. He found it in the fucking metal collector's edition case. So I have a Halo 2 quote unquote collector's edition metal case, which is awesome, like the original Xbox one. And I played that, but I don't remember it at all because I was a lot younger when I got it, and I was like just getting into Halo. Like I just gotten Halo 3 and I loved Reach. I wanted more. But I love the way the anniversary edition of Halo 2 looks. It looks beautiful, and like I love switching back and forth on that one. Halo 1 not as much, but Halo 2 switching back and forth, it looks fucking amazing. It's also a lot of fun to spot the small differences. There's a specific mission where if you're in the new version, there's a platform that sticks out really far, but in the older version, it doesn't. So the hitbox or like the place to walk on is different. So I fell through the floor in the newer edition, but in the old edition, I don't. And I think it's funny. There's some places like that. The story in Halo 2 was just fucking phenomenal. The first time playing as someone other than Chief, it was a great way to introduce
give them
it.
their bomb back.
I know a lot of people didn't like the playing as Arbiter thing, but someone who came from Halo 3 into Halo 2, like, I loved that. That was awesome for me. But again, I know people didn't like it. So Halo 2 was a great game, but it sits in my number 7 because of the fact that I haven't played with other people, and a lot of the Halo games for me, the amount of how much I like it is also how much I've played with other people, because you can have the best game in the world, but if you don't get to share the experience with someone else, it makes it a lot worse to me. Like, the only, like, a few outliers for that would be like The Witcher. Like,
man, that
I
describes
get
my
to
life completely.
right? Like, playing Witcher, for example, it's a single player game, but like when I talk to Damien about it, or like if we're playing at the same time, like that game's so much better, because I'd be like, oh, what about this part? And I was like, this part, and it's like, yeah, I like that part. I like Triss boobies, like. But like with Halo, it's like, yeah, I played Halo 2, like I could talk to you about it, but I'm not playing it right now, so
Yeah,
that's why it's a little bit lower, and maybe in the future that'll change, but that's me. How about you, number 6 there, Damien?
number 6 for me is Halo 3 ODST. I think why this is lower for me, like, it's good for what it was, but this, like,
Absolutely.
when Halo 3 came out and like ODST was coming out, like, I wasn't excited for ODST, but when I played it, I was actually surprised at how good it was. And then the like the first mission has always stuck with me. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a good intro to the game.
Oh my god.
Like, it set the tone right. It was kind of scary, like horror-esque, like with the music, and you know,
That's what they did with it. Yeah, that's
like
the whole thing. I love it.
Yeah, like really unique to the Halo franchise, and so I got to give the game props for that. Like, I thought that was really cool. Overall, it's Halo 3, but with just more. Like, multiplayer was good. So yeah, Halo. I have nothing bad to say about Halo 3. It's exactly what you would expect, and that's what you got, and that's what I'm happy about. Absolutely. Like, it was good. What about you, Jared? Halo 6. What's your number 6?
So my number 6 is Halo 4, which on my original list was actually going to be lower, but as I was remaking it, I had to give myself, I feel like I was being way too hard on the game, because once I think about Halo 4, like, I think Halo 4 is my most played Halo game. Like, when I genuinely sit down and think about it, because like I think
mine's still Reach.
I put ridiculous time in on Reach, but when I went to Halo 4, I played that all the fucking time. Like, I mean, all the time. I played it on 360. I played it on 360 and Xbox One. Like, I went to both consoles on that, because it was on. I went on Chief Collection. But I played Halo 4 so much, and it was so good, because it was like, to me at least, I didn't think there was a continuation of story for Halo 3. I thought, like, or from 3, I mean. I thought that was it. Halo 3 was the end of Halo. Like, that was the end of Master Chief, and I was like, oh, like, you know, that's cool. Like, Chief died at the end of 3, but then you find that he didn't in the Legendary ending. And I was like, cool, well, he's still alive, but they're not going to make another game. And when I heard Halo 4 was coming out, I was like, oh, like, it's called 4. It's not like Halo Reach 2 or anything. Like, what's it about? And it's like, it's Chief again. It was so amazing to get that. That being said, it is in number 6 because
that being said,
it's in number 6 spot because, like, the game's great, but look at the fucking way that they butchered the look of the grunts, the jackals, the elites. No, like, did you look at it? Like, in Halo 5, I can't believe it was a minor upgrade the way that things looked, but I could not stand the way they all looked. The shield pops, like, it's not the same as the other Halos. It was just so not good in that aspect. But the multiplayer was phenomenal. I mean, I was in one of the Halo, like, a Halo clan for the longest time, and I started on Reach, played to 4, and was even in 5 for a little bit. So the entirety of my time on Halo 4, I was in a clan. I had a group of people to play with. So if I wasn't playing with my friends like Damien, I had this other group of people that I could just play with, and we could just have a good time. And it was great, because there'd be times where I'm like, hey guys, let's play Halo. And then you'd have this fucking COD nerd here going, I'm going to play Call of Duty. My name's Damien. And I could be like, all right, well, hey, Halo clan, like, let's do something. And we would just play for hours, and it was great. The Forge, because of that, like, in the clan and all that, they did a lot of custom maps, and they used the Forge, which was a little bit better than Reach's and like significantly better than Five's for some reason. There were some of the best custom maps I've ever played, and I don't know if you ever had this experience in Halo 4, Damien, but there was so many new custom games that I played in that game. Like with the way the Infected was, you could play a lot of really interesting Infected. There was what the hell was it? It was like a Juggernaut game mode where the guy couldn't move, but he was like, if he killed someone, he could like he could do the evade roll or whatever the equivalent of it was, the boot, like the thruster boost thing, so he could get around like that. It was just so much fun, the things that you ran into with that. And the story, especially with Chief, like going back to the story, I mean, like with Chief and Cortana and her like supposedly dying and like going kind of giving us some idea of how the universe came about with the Prometheans. Like it was all really nice, and like how they tied with the Forerunner. It was really cool. But like I said, the only thing, like, it's low on my list because of all those graphical things, and I didn't love some of the characters in the campaign, specifically Captain Del Rio. Just didn't like him. Like I didn't like his attitude. Like if you think about it, Halo 4 happened because of him. Like people died on Earth, and like obviously in the game, not in real life, just making sure people aren't that dumb, because of his actions. And that's, to me, another human should not have been the cause of a significant loss of life
Right.
in the Halo franchise. That was a huge disappointment to me in story wise. Other than that, like, story was good. But what's your number 5, Damien?
Halo 4.
Okay, so going right back into Halo.
Yeah, 4. Right back into Halo 4. So Halo 5 had great multiplayer, bad campaign. Halo 4 is the opposite for me. I really like the campaign of Halo 4, but I think the multiplayer is absolute dog shit. Now, Halo 4, I give a little bit of credit to, or like a little bit of like leeway to, because this was their first Halo game for 343. Understandable. Halo multiplayer is a hard thing to replicate, and it's a hard thing to like replicate the fun. Okay, Bungie had it locked down, and then here's this new kid coming in trying to replicate it, and they didn't do well for me personally. Campaign, what I loved about Halo 4 like reveal and the lead up to Halo 4 is the marketing was perfect. Like literally perfect. And when you play the game and the game loads in and you see the visor turn on and Chief comes out of his little stasis chamber, like that is still one of the moments where it's like it was so surreal, because it's like seeing like a legend like come back to life. This is like if Hulk Hogan died and then came back to life. You know what I mean? Like well, I guess Hulk Hogan's not a good example to use, but like if Iron Man just came back, right, Jared? Like just came back alive, like kind of that's that. Like Master Chief's above that status, but it was just so surreal that after so long, I was playing as Master Chief again, and the story was new. It was refreshing. Yes, the character models were, but the new enemies that they added, the new weapons that they added, I thought were good additions to the game and didn't like hinder it at all. Now we go to the multiplayer. And the multiplayer is a little rough, okay? Like going from Halo 3's multiplayer to this was a huge downgrade for me. But I did play a little bit of Forge. I didn't play as much as Jared, but it was it's Reach, but a lot more content and a lot more polished. That's what was nice about it. And Jared, what I loved about Reach was all the game modes, and what made Halo 4 so great was they carried over those like custom game modes, and then they were able to enhance them, make them bigger, better, and then there's those new game modes that Jared was talking about. Like super fun, fucking love that game to death. I just think if the multiplayer was better, that game is number 3 for me. Probably number 3. But Jared, what about you? What is your number 5? Jared? Okay.
Sorry, I was sneezing and muted myself. I just had a fucking fit. Okay, what was Halo? My number 5, my Halo 5 number. My number 5. And I'm sorry if I'm sniffling. I just sneezing a bunch. My number 5 is Halo Wars 2.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, I kept flipping around which I wanted to be higher or lower between Halo Wars 1 and Halo Wars 2, and I ended up going with 2 just because. I'm sorry, I went with 2 being lower because Halo Wars 2 upgraded so many things about the first Halo Wars that I loved. And that is including the story. The story to Halo Wars 2 was fucking phenomenal. I mean, it just, I know I've talked about it in the past, maybe not on the podcast, but I know I've talked about it in the past, how you have Halo 5's ending and Halo Wars 2 ending collide, and that's where Halo Infinite's going. It is so fucking good. I love the fact that they did that. I really don't have a lot of negative things to say about Halo Wars 2. Compared to Halo Wars 1, there's some negative things, but I'll get to that later. Halo Wars 2 story, like I said, great. The multiplayer was surprisingly good. The only issue is if you were new to it, like I was, like I played Halo Wars 1, but then I like forgot everything and then had to get into Halo Wars 2 and then relearn some of the new stuff they added. Going into it new, like I did, I got fucking destroyed in the multiplayer. The standard multiplayer where you build up the base and then go out, I hadn't figured out how to rush things like a lot of people did. And I would be like, it'd be like 2.5 minutes into the game, I'm like, oh cool, I finally have money, and I'm getting rushed by like 1,000 enemies, and I'm like, what just happened to me? How'd this happen so quick? So I didn't get that aspect. But then they added the new game modes, the Blitz, and then like Blitz Firefight and like all that stuff. Like the Blitz thing, which I actually played in the beta before it came out, actually I think I got an alpha pass too. Blitz was fucking cool. Instead of like building a base like you're normally supposed to, you have like this card set up, and you have to pick the cards, you have to gain energy, play a character, and then those characters would go and get more energy to play more cards. And it was a lot of fun doing that in the multiplayer sense, because you had you and 2 teammates and then 3 enemies. And that was cool because it was something for someone who wasn't as good as the base building part, but knew how to command troops, knew the advantages and the disadvantages, because it's like that rock, paper, scissors type thing where you got air is better against infantry is good against, air is good against ground, like tanks and stuff. Tanks good against infantry is good against air. I was good at that, but I wasn't good at base building. So the Blitz thing, awesome, loved it. And then they added way later, after the new DLC came out, a firefight game mode where you actually built the bases, and that was a lot of fun. But there's no one plays it anymore, so I never got to play a lot of it. Like the matchmaking for that specific part completely died. But like I said, story great. The new units they added were awesome. The new heroes they added, they were awesome. They expanded upon a lot of the good things from the first game. But what they, to me, did worse was some of the enemy troops. Now, I loved the Banished in Halo Wars 2. The Banished were awesome. The story behind them, all of it, it's like, how can you take something worse than the Covenant? And they did it. And like in Halo War, or I'm sorry, oh my god, in Halo Infinite coming up, you see how that's going to be, like with Chief and fighting them, and it's going to be great. Like that's something I'm excited about. But in Halo Wars 2, they built up the Banished so fucking well. But to me, it was hard to replace the characters, like the main enemies from Halo Wars 1. You had the Prophet, you had the Arbiter, and then they just kind of made up the Brute Warlord. Whatever. Like it is what it is. And then in the second one, you had Atriox, his right-hand man, the Chieftain, or what the fuck was it? Decimus, I think. And then you had the Shipmaster Elite. And it's interesting to me that they went from having 2 really strong non-brute characters and a weak brute character to having 2 really strong brute characters and a weak non-brute character as the enemy. And it would have been nice if they could have just made 3 like well-rounded named characters, and like so they would have been cool, instead of me never playing the Shipmaster in my life and playing some of the DLC bad guys more because they're better. That's like the only negative I have, is like Halo Wars, the first Halo Wars had such a better like enemy system in terms of the leaders. Like the overall AI in the second game was cool. Like I love the enemy AI in that fashion, especially the DLC where you fight the Flood. But I hated the leaders. Like until you got to the DLCs, the original, like with the base game, the leaders were not that great.
Yeah.
That's like the only negative thing I have from Halo Wars 2 compared to the other Halos. How about you? What is your number 5 spot?
I already did my number 5. It was Halo 4. My number 4 is Halo Combat Evolved. I obviously played this with Cody. I played it back in the day when it came out. So revolutionary. Like it's a lot of nostalgia for me, but like how important this game was to like the gaming world, like it is still insane. Like, Jared, do you know that Master Chief costumes is still the #1 selling costume for like teenagers and like young children?
I
Like,
absolutely would believe that.
also real quick, breaking news, sort of, Final Fantasy 16 is a thing and it's gonna be a PS5 exclusive. We're moving on. Anyways,
Great.
right, so speaking of fucking shitty things, so Halo Combat Evolved, when I went back and played it in MCC, the game hasn't aged well. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, when I was playing it, I would switch between old and new graphics, and like, what I will say, it was revolutionary at the time of what was going on, but the level design is bad. Like, there's points in that game, like especially the mid part of the game, like where it was rough to play because you just kept going in the same circular room over and over again, fighting the same types of enemies over and over again. Now I will say the floods are really cool, but
Yeah.
man, over and over again I was just doing the same thing, and finally at the end when me and Cody beat it, I was like, that was 8 hours, but that felt like 24.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
But other than that, multiplayer, I didn't really play it that much for the first Halo. I played it a little bit, but I was mainly like a campaign dude, and I still to this day it has a place in my soul. So
Yeah.
what's your number 4, Jared?
So gonna stay on that Halo Wars topic. My number 4 is the first Halo Wars, and I love the first Halo Wars because, again, Halo Wars, all of them, great story. The first Halo Wars had an amazing story. One of my, I'd say probably my top 5 favorite characters. Well, actually, that's, now that I think about it more, maybe not top 5, but definitely one of my top characters was Sergeant Forge. And like the Captain Cutter from the first Halo Wars, like fucking phenomenal. Loved them. They were great characters, built very nicely. Even Anders from the first one was very good compared to the second Halo Wars Anders. But the game was just fucking good. And like, I know Damien's not a big like
RTS.
Thank you. I was thinking something else than R. I know Damien's not a big RTS fan, but me personally, I love him. And I don't love them as much as I know a lot of people do, but when it came to the Halo ones, I was all in. Like the Gears one, also all in. And oh god, just because it's Halo, it feels better to me than a lot of other RTSs I see out there, which I know is probably kind of like biased, but I don't really give a shit. I just love it. So get over it, I guess. And the story with Halo, like I was saying, is great. The way that they take something that has nothing to do with Chief and still make me emotionally invested in the entirety of the crew of Spirit of Fire and like Red Team, and like how Forge dies, like it's all so nice. And especially when they continued in Halo Wars 2, and like I hope somewhere we get it in Halo Infinite. I will be very disappointed if we don't see them anywhere. But yeah, Halo Wars was great, and the multiplayer was a lot harder like for me to get into because I got into Halo Wars at the end of its life cycle, like when it was dying down like heavily. So I was hard for me to play like real online multiplayer. I usually played it with friends, or more often than not I played it with AI because you could do like skirmishes and stuff. And for some reason I got really into the Halo Wars. There was a strategy called turtling. It may have been called super turtling, but basically you would put down a bunch of, as a human player or the UNSC, you would play what the fuck were they called? The railgun? Oh, the Cobras, I think is what they're called. You put a ton of them down and then you just sit there because nothing could penetrate your base ever. And I loved it. I just got super into that for some reason. And also at the time I found a lot of the Halo Lego Mega Block things were a lot of sets from Halo Wars, and I loved those. And so that game just like inspired me to do a lot of things Halo. Multiplayer, like I said, wasn't very into it. But the few people who would play it with me, I think Carp and Slayer played the game with me, I think, Damien.
Yeah,
way
probably.
back when. But yeah, that played with a few friends, and it was a damn good game. I really liked it. And the main thing I'm saying here is good is the story. I love the Halo Wars story. But what's your number 3?
My number 3 is gonna shock you, but it's Halo 3.
That is shocking.
Like, I talk a lot of shit about Halo 3, but the campaign is so good that I can't
is.
I can't sit here and rank it below Halo 4, even though I'd love to. Like, Halo 3 is the upgraded version of Halo 4 in a sense. Better story, way better multiplayer, even though I fucking hate Halo 3's multiplayer. Like,
Yeah.
and the Forge,
It was a hard multiplayer, understandable.
like in the was that a shot?
What?
No, I'll continue. And the Forge was like was good. So Halo 3, obviously you have probably the like most iconic Halo mission in that game with the final mission, or at least one, like maybe top two, right? Like Arbiter's storyline, everything going on in that game, campaign wise, really fucking good. Like for me though, multiplayer is a downside, and the two games we're gonna talk about after this, man, they had some multiplayers. So yeah, Halo 3 is my number 3.
Awesome. So my number 3, actually, before I get on to my number 3, let me just say that it is hard for me to take my top 3 and actually put them in like 1, 2, and 3 spots, because my top 3 for me, like, it is, if I'm sitting down like, all right, I want to play my favorite Halo, it's hard for me to decide which Halo that is. That being said, Halo 3 ODST is my number 3. I fucking love
over Halo 2.
I fucking love ODSTs.
Uh-huh.
Love them. I don't know what it is.
More than
I don't
Halo
remember
2,
I don't remember which game it was that I saw an ODST and went, that is amazing. But one of the games I was like, this is it. And I found out about Halo 3 ODST because I was still new at Halo, and I was like, that's amazing. I'm buying that now. And I bought it and I played it and I fucking fell in love with it. Now, this was young me, and now old me is better at it a little, but young me took probably over 20 hours to play the whole campaign all the way through, because I spent many of hours just walking around the city going, I have no fucking idea where I'm going. Not any idea. And this was before I had like a phone to just Google where do go in Halo 3 ODST. So I'm just like walking around, and then I'd be like, all right, I need to go like on my family computer and Google this. So like it would be like the next day I'm like, hey, where do I go? And I'm like, oh, it's right there. That's really easy. And then I still can't find it in game because of how fucking hard it was to navigate that map as a young lad. Now, obviously, now that I'm a man, I can understand these things a lot better. I say as I lie a little bit. But anyway, pushing that aside, Halo 3 ODST, I love the story. I love like ODSTs for some reason. Like I said, on all the Halo games, I just love them. And like when I'm playing the other games, like in Reach or 3, if there's an ODST, I can't let that ODST die. I will fucking run in front of tanks, or I'll reset checkpoints. Like I'll save that damn ODST if it's the last thing I do. And Halo 3 ODST, playing as an ODST, just made me so happy. And now that I think about it, I think I've only beaten that story like 2 or 3 times, but I've started it like 2 or 3 dozen times. Like I love playing it, but I never finish it, just because like it gets hard for me to want to play it when I don't have like buddies to play along with me. Because the few times I've played it with friends, it's so much fun. Like it's such a, like Damien said, it's a dark, almost scary game. But when you're just running around with buddies, especially when you're playing as a rookie, it's so funny to just be like, hey, see that brute over there? Let's sneak up on him. You guys like, you crouch, walk right up behind him, just start beating him with your hand, like beating him down with your fists. Such a good game. And it built off of the Halo 3 engine, which I loved. Like I know Damien said it was hard to play the multiplayer, but that's just because he's a Call of Duty player, so it's hard for him to play any Halo.
The multiplayer's just ass.
So, and you might hear some noise there about him pretending that it's ass. It's not. He's just an idiot.
It's terrible.
So building off the Halo 3 engine for ODST was so good. I'm glad they didn't try to upgrade it. I'm glad they didn't try to change anything, because yeah, they added the new suppressed pistol and suppressed whatever, the fucking SMG, which is fine, the new guns, but it's still in the Halo 3 engine. It was so good. It's not even funny. Like all the things that Halo 3 was, putting it into ODST but not being a Spartan, it was so different. Like how did anyone know, how did Bungie know if people were gonna like playing a Halo not as Chief? and people loved it. And like, I know that not everyone knows about it, like let alone likes it, but the people who have played it love it, and there's a reason. It's because it's a damn good Halo. There was no multiplayer, and the firefight that was in it was fun as shit. I'm pretty sure, no, I'm like almost positive that that was the first Halo game that had a firefight, and it was dope. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's the fucking one of the greatest Halos ever played, and it's hard for me to put it number 3 spot. So Damien, what is your number 2?
It's hard for me to believe you put in fucking number 3 over Halo 2, but we're gonna continue.
You changed it for my 14. Shut up.
Oh, my number 2. This is hard because it always flip-flops back and forth. We're gonna make this quick because we're at an hour now.
Yeah.
Halo Reach is my number 2. Halo Reach is, I'm gonna be honest with you, number 1 and 2 are perfect games. Like,
yep.
Forge on Reach, amazing. Multiplayer on Reach is probably the most fun I've had on a Halo game ever in my life. Ever.
I agree.
Campaign wise, something unique, something different. Like, the only thing that's rough is the first like 3 or 4 missions. After that, fucking phenomenal. The reason why it's number 2 for me is mainly because those first 3 or 4 missions are a little bit rough. And the multiplayer, even though I look back on it fondly, there are, like, compared to my number 1 game, there are a few maps multiplayer wise that I don't think hold up well. But that's also because I played sniper versus sniper all the fucking time, like a maniac.
And now no one plays it.
Like a maniac.
Yeah.
But Halo Reach is, I would argue, the greatest Xbox exclusive of all time besides my number 1. So that is my number 2. What about you, Jared?
So my number 2, heartbreakingly,
DMR, by the way. Forget to mention
that. My number 2 is Halo 3.
Okay.
So Halo 3, take everything I said about ODST and apply it to Halo 3 and minus the ODST part. The fucking game engine, like, it played so good. Like, I know it was Halo 3, I know it was old, but it was such a fucking good game. The story to Halo 3 was the first Halo I played as Master Chief. I knew more about Noble Team than I knew about Master Chief going into Halo 3. And when I learned who Master Chief was, I immediately fell in love. Like, I'd seen memes, like I'd seen pictures of it, and I'm like, oh, it's a Spartan. It's like it's Noble 6. And I didn't realize who the Master Chief was until I got into Halo 3. Like, I knew Chief, I knew Master Chief, but I didn't know it. Like, I didn't hear his voice, I didn't play the character, I didn't know how fucking amazing he was until I played Halo 3. The story of Halo 3 is, I mean, it's perfect. And it features my first experience with my probably number 1 favorite character in all of the Halo games, and that's Sergeant Johnson. Sergeant Avery Johnson is such a good character in this game, to the point where I bought a fucking Halo book almost completely just about him and read it start to finish and loved it because it featured fucking Sergeant Major Johnson. I'm sorry, I'm giving him the wrong rank. Halo 3's multiplayer, I think I've played the least out of all the ones like all the multiplayers I could play. I obviously haven't done 1 or 2s, except for on Chief Collection. So I'm not counting that though, because I don't want to for right now. Halo 3's multiplayer is probably least played, but Halo 3's Forge I played a fuck ton of, and the custom games I played a fuck ton of. But not any of the actual like online multiplayer. The last mission in Halo 3 where you're running away in the Warthogs to get back to the Pillar of Autumn. Yeah, Pillar of Autumn? Yeah, fuck. That's the name of the ship. When you're running away to get back to the ship, I have spent probably more time on that section of that mission alone, more than I've played the entirety of that campaign, because I would play with a couple of friends, and we would literally just fuck around on that mission the whole time. Like, there was a timer, so I know sometimes it would eventually reset, but if you got to a certain area, it wouldn't. and we would go and search for every fucking Easter egg. So we found like the ghosts, we found the talking grunt, we found the place where you could see certain fights happening on the map. We found a bunch of it. I can't even remember them all. We also did things where we'd climb out of the map, like we would glitch out with grenade jumps, like we'd do all of it. Like we loved that fucking mission. We would just drive the warthogs and fuck with each other. Like we would try to get when we got the ghosts, we'd do all 4 ghosts and like mess with each other. If we could do the mongoose, we would, because we do mongoose, warthog, and we just hit each other. A lot of times it would be 4 of us. We do 2 and 2 in each hog, and we just see who could like mess each other up. It was so much fun. That specifically, I remember doing my first all-nighters, like staying up till 6 or 7 in the morning, playing just that final mission, and being like, well, I'm just not going to bed. Like I just stayed up having the best time of my life. Like why would I go to bed? It's just so good. And like when they bring the flood back, like the Arbiter story, killing the Prophet of Truth, like all of it, it's just like, I know it's an older game. I know the graphics weren't great, but it was such a good fucking game. And it, like I said, my top 3, it's hard for me to say which one is 1 and 2 and 3, but I think Halo 3 deserves a very good spot in number 2 because it was great. But that being said, Damien, tell me your number 1.
Halo 2.
Okay.
Halo 2, I think a lot of people forget, this is the game that made Xbox. Without this game, Xbox probably wouldn't be a thing right now. This is the game that sold millions of consoles. This multiplayer, like when you go and play it in the MCC collection, holds up so well. It is crazy. The maps hold up phenomenally. And then you go play the campaign and you realize the campaign is just as good or not better. Like they added the SMG in the game. Like they
dual wielding
as a whole. They added, what I love about this game is it's a proper sequel. They took what worked in the first game, they made it better, and they added more of it. You got more Chief badassery, I guess I'm going to put it like that. And this is the game that like made me fall in love with Master Chief. The character, the story development that they did with it overall. Also, the fact that how good this game looks on the Master Chief collection with the fucking cutscenes, or I guess the anniversary, whichever one you want to go by. Like, the cutscenes look amazing. The story is well thought out. It's fast paced. And it gives you, I don't know how to put it. It just, when I went back and played it, I was just smiling the whole time because it's so different. It's so unique, and there's never going to be a game like that again. The final like 3 missions are perfect. Fucking,
they are really good,
dude. Like the portion, I forget what the mission's called. I think it's the last mission where you like, there's those bridges that you like stand on, and it just automatically takes you to the other side, and you just continuously fight waves of enemies, and you go on another bridge, and it takes you like phenomenal.
Are you talking about Over the Water?
Yeah, I believe
that's
so.
Middle of the game.
Is it middle of the game? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
That may even be like the first couple minutes. That may be like
no. It's towards the end.
Well, if it's Over the Water before you kill the Prophet, it's early game. But if you're talking about the one where you're as Arbiter, it's late game.
I think it's the one where you're the Arbiter.
Okay, that's a little bit later then.
Yeah. So, anyways, you also had the Arbiter. Cool story. Cool like beginning of a story, and obviously it sets up Halo 3 very well.
We didn't
even talk about how Halo 3 basically almost killed Master Chief, but you know, it's whatever. Perfection. You actually got to see like the development between Cortana and Master Chief. Like it started that whole sexy love thing that they have going on. And it's one of the games of my childhood, man. So yeah, Halo 2 is my number 1 Halo game of all time.
My number 1 is Halo Reach by I want to say landslide, but I like I said, I struggle with my placing in my top 3. Halo Reach was the fucking Halo. I mean, it was like when I think about when I first played Halo, like Reach was the first Halo I ever played. Well, first Halo I remember playing. I was told I played a little when I was little, but I don't remember it. Reach was like, I think back, first time ever playing on the 360, first time ever using an Xbox controller, I played with my friend Matt, or our friend Matt, I'm sorry. And we were playing it, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, what is this? He's like, it's called Halo Reach. And he's like, just got my new Xbox 360. Like, I just wanted to play it. And I'm like, this is literally like the best thing I've ever played in my life. And I didn't know anything about Halo. I knew nothing. I barely knew like I didn't know Call of Duty either. Like I knew, I think the only games I fucking knew was like Need for Speed, like as I played on a PlayStation 2. And Reach is the reason I bought a 360, the reason I got into Xbox, the reason I advanced past like a PlayStation 2 and a Wii. Reach is the entirety of like it. Reach is why I'm here doing this. Is why I love Halo. It's why I game. It's why I do podcasts. Why I stream. It's all like due to Reach. Reach was, it started it all for me. And when I play the story, when I play the campaign for Reach, I always have to take extra time to go slower on the New Alexandria mission where you're flying in the Falcons the whole time, because that mission is the first mission I ever played, and it's the one I've spent the most time on playing with Matt. And he, like, it was so much fun. Like, we, not knowing anything back then, I tried to ride on top of it. We tried to hit each other while we were in them. It was just a blast playing that mission. And the multiplayer, oh my god, like, I've got, to this day, if I load up my Xbox, either my 360 or my One, I can go on to the file share part of the Reach, and I've got screenshots of my character and Matt's character in Forge, in custom games, in multiplayer. I've got pictures of him and I playing Team Snipers. I've got pictures of us fucking around on the grids in Forge. I've got pictures of us doing some kind of zombies mode in a custom game. I've got tons of them, and I love it. The Forge was amazing. I never knew anything about Forge. And the first ever, this is going to be really horrible, so please bear with me. The first ever Forge map I played was one that I think Matt made himself. He may have downloaded it. I don't know. But we load in the Forge hangar, and I didn't know there was more to the world. I thought there was a big-ass window. So I was running around in there, and I'm like, hey, man, where are you? No one's in this room with me. And he's like, hey, dumbass, hit up on the D-pad. And I turned into the Forge ball. He's like, go over to the window. And I went over there, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. He's like, you can go out there. And I experienced Forge World for the first time, and it was, I mean, like, it was jaw-dropping. I went out to the island, and I was like, this is cool. He's like, there's more. There's a canyon. And I'm like, shut up. And, like, I just kept going, and it felt like it never ended. And he's like, so see this tower I made? And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. He's like, we're gonna fly banshees into it. And I'm like, all right. And he put little fucking like tanks and shit, and we had to kamikaze into it, because he called it the 9/11 remake. And that's what we did for an hour. We just fucking slammed banshees in the side of a forged tower with tanks on it, and every time there was an explosion, he's like, now it's gonna fall. But it didn't, because we didn't know how to do forge mechanics back then. And yeah, I said it was going to be bad, so I'm glad you bared with me there. And go to multiplayer. I hated multiplayer. It was horrible. I hated multiplayer in any game, but I loved the game modes I could play. Infected, loved it. I played it so much. Griffball, not as great, but I liked Griffball. Invasion, I loved Invasion. Loved Invasion. Team Snipers was great. Matt loved playing SWAT, and he begged me to play it, and I hated it because you get one-shot headshot, and I didn't know how to play back then. Going back now, though, I will wipe the floor with people when I play SWAT, unless they're using a mouse and keyboard. Then I hate them, and I can't play against that, because Halo's meant to play in a controller and die. Anyway, oh my god, the story to Halo Reach, man, the whole Noble team, like the characters dying off one by one. When Cat died after the New Alexandria mission, I didn't know what to fucking do with myself. I was like, they're not supposed to die. They're the main character. That's like,
then fucking him. Oh, I didn't even mention Emil, dude. Emil's probably my second favorite. I mean, you know, Emil's my probably second favorite character of Halo of all time.
Yep. And Cat going, and then
George.
Well, I mean, George died before her, which
which fucking sucked.
That was horrible. But I always, like, Cat's death was so much more like,
because it was random, dude. Just fucking happened out of nowhere.
You hear the kneeler ka-ching, and I'm like, what happened? And she just falls, and I'm like, oh. Like, George's death was, he's sad.
Dude, and then the last mission, dude, like. It's just
last mission, Carter goes, Emil goes, and it's like, June's probably dead, and I'm like, you know what, YOLO, let me just go fight some shit till my helmet cracks. Oh my god, Reach was so good, and like, it was so much of it was great. There were so many exploits you could do. There were so many out of the map, like out of bounds glitches. There were so many Easter eggs. It was so it was so yummy. Oh,
Never say that again. I just got
I'm sorry.
goosebumps. Holy shit.
I knew if I said it would make you cringe. It was great. It was so good. And they added DLC later on, which thank God they did, because they added firefight maps. They added so many fucking awesome maps. Like, there's one, I think it's an anniversary quote unquote map that they added. There's a firefight one, which is great, but they added another one that's like a regular multiplayer map that I played like 2 or 3 of my first games playing it on PC. That was the map, and it was so good getting back into that game. But yeah, number one is Halo Reach, and it'll always stand as my favorite game, probably of all time.
Right.
Forever until I die.
Alrighty. Well, that's us ranking all the Halo games. Next week, it's not much going on. Let me see what the date is next week that we'll be recording. There apparently may be a Sony event next week. We have the Tony Hawk event, or the demo, coming out in a few weeks. We have Microsoft Flight Simulator coming out in a few weeks. So,
ooh, yes,
a lot of stuff's coming. Like last week, we skipped on the podcast because I just felt like we didn't have enough to talk about, and I was I don't want to put out a podcast where it's just us rambling about stupid shit for an hour. I want to have a purpose. Yeah. And so,
I was kind of unavailable.
Yeah. And so next week, if there's not much going on, we are probably going to skip out on it. I'll try to make up some fun stuff. If you want to ask us questions, if you want to do a Q&A, next week probably be the best chance. So shoot us your questions. I'll try to remember to put it in our Twitters or something like that. Yeah, that's been it. Thank you guys for listening to the Conversation Colons podcast.
Bye, guys.